Monday, July 23rd. Oh, brother, I don't believe it. That stupid Carl Ray. At dinner tonight, Dad asked Carl Ray when he was going home, and Carl Ray said he was leaving on Friday. And so Mom asked him when he would be back, and he said the next Friday. And then Dad asked him if he minded driving alone. And Carl Ray said, "Don't really know." And Dad said, "Mighty long drive." And Mom said, "Isn't there anyone who could ride along with you?" And then it went like this. Good idea. What about one of the kids? Maggie looked at me, and I looked at Dennis, and he looked at Dougie, and he looked at Tommy. Tommy said, me, I'm going. No, Tommy, you're too little. Me. Dad looked at Maggie. Oh, I'd like to, honest, but I can't, what with watching Tommy and all. And besides, Kenny and I are going to the Easton Festival, and also I promised Mrs. Fritz I would take Barry and Kathy and David and... Okay, I get the picture. I'm going camping with Billy, remember? Oh, right. And I get car sick. He really does. Everyone, by this time, is looking at me. I am in a complete panic. Oh, Mary Lou, wouldn't you like to go? Oh, sure. I'd really love to go and all, but boy, Maggie always needs help with Tommy and Alex and I. We already made plans. Plans for what? Well, plans to do stuff. Like what? What's the matter with my stupid brain? Well, just plans to go to the movies. You just went to the movies. Another movie. What else? You know, plans. Well, Billy, Mary Lou, you might be the best one to go. And besides, you've got the whole rest of the summer to see Alex. But what about Alex? What if he forgets me? What if absence makes the heart grow fonder? And that was the absolute end of that. I couldn't believe it. The only thing that makes me not pack my bag and run away from home is that Alex called tonight. And when I told him about having to go with Carl Ray, he said that was amazing because his parents had been bugging him to go with them to see his cousins in Michigan next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and that he'd been trying to find a way to convince them to let him stay home. But if I was going to be gone, he'd just go on with them. Oh, that made me feel a lot better, but still, 8 hours in a car with Carl Ray? I do like to visit Aunt Radine because they live on this great little farm with a cemetery in the front. They tell a lot of ghost stories. And a big hill in the back with cows on it, and an enormous barn with a loft full of hay and the niftiest swimming hole in the world. The bad part about visiting Aunt Radine is that not only is there no phone, but there is also no electricity and there is no plumbing. That means outhouses and wells and stuff. Really? But I don't know how I can be away from Alex for a whole week. Beth Ann called to say that she had talked to Christy, who said that the GGP is still considering her for membership, but that she would have to come to the next pajama party, which is next Saturday. And Beth Ann said that since Carl Ray and I would both be gone, she sounded real jealous when she heard I was going, but I told her that he was just my stupid cousin and I didn't even want to go and it wasn't going to be any fun. And I would remind him of her every 5 minutes. She might as well go to the GGP pajama party. Just for the heck of it, she said. I'm glad I'll be gone. Tuesday, July 24th. My mother has forbidden me to use the following 3 words. God, stupid, and stuff. She said I needed to expand my vocabulary. It's not easy eliminating these words all of a sudden. When she said that, I said, well, God, Mary Lou. And then I said I had to go do the stupid dishes. And she said, Mary Lou. And about 2 seconds later, I said I was going to have trouble not saying God and stuff. And she said, Mary Lou. So I asked her what the heck I was supposed to do with these big holes in my vocabulary all of a sudden. And she said, use the thesaurus. Right. So I spent about an hour combing the thesaurus. And here's what I came up with. God, deity, Lord, Jehovah, providence, heaven, the divinity, the supreme being, the almighty, the omnipotent, the infinite being, Alpha and Omega, the absolute, King of kings, etc. There's lots more. I'm having trouble picturing me saying, oh, deity, or oh, omnipotent, or oh, Alpha and Omega, but I'm going to try. Stupid, fool-headed, asinine, buffoonish, apish, fatuous, witless, moronic, imbecile, batty, besotted, myopic, poppycockish, cockamamie, lumpish, oafish, boobish, beef-brained, chowder-headed, beetle-headed, cabbage-headed, etc. There are lots of words for stupid. I can't believe my mother wants me to use some of these, but I'll try. I practiced already. That witless old Carl Ray, that beef-brained Christy, that cabbage-headed Beth. Pretty good, huh? Stuff. Material, constituents, sum and substance, nub, pith, quintessence, elixir, irreducible content. Well, sure. I can hear myself now. We all messed around and quintessence. He had all this elixir in his pocket. We went to the park and irreducible content, which doesn't make a bit of sense if you ask me. Not much elixir happened today. Alex had to work all day, so I stayed home. Watched Tommy, read some more Odyssey, and quintessence. Mrs. Furtz came over again, all crying and nub about some cabbage-headed letter she got. I don't know what she was going on about. I do feel sorry for her and all. I really do. But omnipotent. She really gets to sobbing and pulling at her hair. Alex and I are going out tomorrow night and Thursday night before our separation. Oh, sob. The only good thing about Carl Ray going out with Beth Ann is that after dinner, he splashes on about a gallon of besotted aftershave and drives over to Beth Ann's. She lives a whole block away, and he doesn't get back until about 10 or 11 o'clock. Dad is happy because he finally gets his TV watching chair back, and everybody else is happy because they can watch their own programs again. I have a confession to make. I snooped around in Carl Ray's room today. I don't know what got into me, but I was vacuuming upstairs and I was looking at all these new bottles of aftershave. He has 2 bottles of Canoe. He must have heard how much Beth Ann loves it on his dresser. And his drop dresser was open a bit. And I sort of peered in. And then I guess I was wondering if he had all his money in there. And I wanted to see if he had any left. So I opened the drawer. He sure had a lot of some substance in there. Alpha and Omega. About 20 packs of gum, a bunch of pennies and nickels, 3 can openers, 2 pocket knives, some horse chestnuts, 3 pairs of ratty old socks, pens, pencils, packs of matches, glue, a can of tuna fish, unopened, and a can of sardines, also unopened, a diary, and something wrapped up in tissue paper. I stared at the diary and the thing wrapped up in tissue paper for about a few minutes. I didn't want anyone to catch me, but I sure wanted to open that diary and that little package. But I was starting to feel guilty. I decided to open only one thing. I figured that it would be worse to open the diary, so I opened up the tissue paper. How peculiar! Inside was a gold ring with a large black stone. There was also a card that said, Carl Ray, I want you to have this. I'll explain later. C.F. I figured it must be from his father, Carl Joe Finney, but I never knew that Uncle Carl Joe could afford anything as fancy as that ring. If he could, why wouldn't he put a bathroom in his house? I was going to look inside the ring and see if it had an inscription. But Dennis came upstairs then, and he caught me sticking it back and asked what I was snooping at. And I told him I was just cleaning. For deity's sake. The Dead. Book 11 of the Odyssey is deadly boring. That's a pun. because this part is all about Odysseus's visit to the dead. It wasn't as exciting as I expected it to be. He meets some old friends who weren't as lucky as he. They're dead after all. And also, he meets a prophet who tells him what's going to happen to him in the future. He warns him about all the dangers ahead. And tells him that he will kill all of his wife's suitors. I didn't think Homer should give away the ending like that. Also, this prophet tells Odysseus how he will die. He's going to die at sea, but sort of a peaceful death. A sort of peaceful death. Imagine. Would you want someone to tell you what was going to happen to you and how you were going to die? What if you were told you were going to die at sea? Wouldn't you stay about as far away from the sea as possible? But the way this prophet tells Odysseus, it's as if there isn't a darn thing he can do about it. It's all planned out. Would you want to know what was on your path of life and all? Oh, I wouldn't. No way. But I wouldn't mind visiting dead people. I'd check on how Mr. Furtz was doing.